What's growing on gardeners? If you've ever tried growing peppers, you've probably noticed something strange. Some plants explode with production, absolutely loaded with fruit all season long. And others struggle the entire year, barely producing anything worth harvesting. And most people assume it's luck, or soil quality, or even the variety of pepper. But after decades of growing peppers in raised beds, containers, and open soil systems, I can tell you that's not what's happening at all. There are very specific mistakes that almost every gardener makes, and those mistakes directly control whether your pepper plants produce consistently or completely stall out. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to fix that. And more importantly, how to keep your pepper plants producing non-stop, all the way until the end of the season. Now let's start with the foundation of everything. Because if you get this wrong, nothing else matters. And that is soil fertility at the moment of transplant. Most gardeners simply dig a hole, drop the plant in, and water it. But peppers are heavy feeding plants. They are not set and forget crops. They are constantly demanding nutrients as they grow, flower, and set fruit. So when I transplant peppers, I always enrich the planting hole with slow-release organic nutrition. Not just any fertilizer, but a layered system of organic inputs that break down over time. Because peppers don't want a single feeding event. They want a continuous supply of nutrients being released slowly as the season progresses. That's what drives sustained production. And if you skip this step, what usually happens is simple. The plant grows, it produces a few peppers, and then it stalls. Not because it's finished, but because it literally runs out of accessible energy in the root zone. Now let's talk about something just as important: spacing and structure. A lot of gardeners overcrowd peppers thinking more plants equals more yield. But what actually happens is competition. For light. For airflow. And most importantly, for root space. When pepper plants are too crowded, they start competing underground before you even see the problem above ground. Roots get restricted. Moisture distribution becomes uneven. And airflow drops, which increases disease pressure. So even if the plants look fine early on, mid-season decline is almost guaranteed. That's why proper spacing and structural support is critical. Because once peppers start fruiting heavily, the weight alone can collapse the plant. And when a plant collapses, production slows immediately. So support systems aren't optional. They are part of the production system. Now here's something most gardeners completely misunderstand. Pruning peppers. You'll hear advice saying you should top them early, prune them heavily, force branching, to increase yield. But in real-world growing conditions, especially in long-season environments, this often backfires. Because every time you prune a pepper plant, you are forcing it to redirect energy into recovery instead of production. And that recovery period can take weeks. Which means delayed flowering, delayed fruiting, and ultimately less total production over the season. Now I'm not saying pruning is always bad. But timing matters. Mid-season rejuvenation pruning after stress or disease can absolutely reset a plant. But early aggressive pruning? In most cases, it slows you down more than it helps. And experienced growers learn this the hard way. Now let's move into something even more important: sunlight management. This is where most pepper problems actually start. People are told peppers are full sun plants. And technically, that's partially true. But it's also misleading. Because in extreme heat conditions, especially in long summer climates, full sun can actually reduce productivity. When temperatures spike and UV intensity increases, pepper plants often respond by slowing down production to protect themselves. You'll notice this as stalled flowering, wilting in the afternoon, or fruit dropping during peak heat. And what's really happening is stress response. The plant is diverting energy away from reproduction and into survival. So what do experienced growers do? They don't just give full sun and hope for the best. They manage intensity. That might mean morning sun with afternoon shade. or seasonal shade cloth during peak summer heat. Because once you reduce stress, the plant immediately shifts back into reproductive mode. And that's when production explodes again. Now here's where everything starts to compound. Because once soil nutrition is stable, spacing is correct, and heat stress is controlled, you enter the most important phase of pepper production. And that is harvest frequency. Most gardeners make a critical mistake here. They leave peppers on the plant too long, waiting for full ripeness, or trying to maximize size. But what they don't realize is that every ripe fruit on the plant is a signal. It tells the plant, mission accomplished. And when a plant believes it has successfully produced mature seeds, it slows down reproduction. So when you harvest regularly, and I mean aggressively, you are not just collecting food. You are sending a biological signal that reproduction is still needed, that the cycle is not complete. And the plant responds by producing more flowers, more fruit, and more cycles of growth. Now let's connect everything together. Because pepper production is not one single technique. It's a system. Soil fertility, root development, heat management, structural support, and harvest behavior. When all of these systems are aligned, something interesting happens. The plant stops behaving like a seasonal crop and starts behaving like a continuous production system. Flowering becomes constant, fruit set becomes cyclical, and harvests become ongoing instead of periodic. And once you reach that stage, you accomplish something very important. It was never about forcing the plant to produce more. It was about removing the limitations that were holding it back. Because peppers already have the genetic potential to produce heavily. The real challenge is simply creating conditions where that potential is fully expressed. And when you finally get that right, you don't just grow peppers. You maintain production. Continuously. All season long. Until the very end.